and welcome to Worst Games Ever. Not really, that's a little joke.
I was going to say, because I'm not very small.
You're
I'm not a very small man like Tiny Peter.
But would you give it everything you've got?
Yes, I would.
Triple Jump vibes over here. We like Triple Jump, don't we?
If you don't know, they're our sister channel who do gaming content.
I wasn't going to give it any context, just for the banter.
Please subscribe.
Please do. Here is your wrestling news. AEW are making new plans for CM Punk and Daniel Bryan's debuts. Jeff Hardy tests positive for COVID-19 and he is off WWE events. And a released WWE star comments on winning a major indie title over the weekend. We'll get to that in a bit. What a time to be a wrestling fan, Ross. With all of this nonsense going on with the Punk and the Bryan boys. What do you make of it all? Think of this wrestling malarkey that we do.
I would, journalists, they are at the mercy of their sources. I would be nervous if I was Cassidy Haynes. Could you imagine if all of this just proved to be not true? That's my biggest fear, just for the sanctity of Cassidy Haynes of bodyslam.net.
Well, more from Cassidy.
Go on, Cassidy! We're on the Cassidy train, aren't we?
Blaze of glory, Cassidy Haynes. More for Cassidy Haynes at bodyslam.net when it comes to the debuts of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. According to bodyslam.net, they already have plans for Daniel Bryan to debut on September 22nd for AEW. Then the Punk stuff happened, and it's kind of thrown a wrench into how they want to present everything. Now they've got to reformat everything because of that. Daniel Bryan started talking to them 2 or 3 weeks ago, supposed to debut at Arthur Ashe at the venue as long as 2 days ago. That was set. They can always change it up when it's going to debut, but it is happening. 100% guaranteed to be in AEW. But it looks like they're remixing it now that CM Punk is there as well. It's intriguing.
Now, Matthew of Botchamania fame, and also of Cultaholic Wrestling podcast fame, and Cultaholic Wrestling Twitch fame, and the podcast you do.
The Cultaholic Classic SmackDown
Matthew's
review.
A famous man on many platforms. He tickled our proverbial sack at the end of the podcast last week by saying maybe, just maybe, we could do a sort of outsiders vibey thing with Bryan and Punk. Maybe that could happen. Factor them both into the same debut and have a storyline kick off from there. I would very much be on board with that.
So this is the cult of personality. Look at the adjective, cult. Do it! Here's a little other bit of tickly news from bodyslam.net. Sources have confirmed that Tony Khan and the EVPs flew on the private jet on Sunday from Champaign-Urbana to Chicago. Ho-ho! What a lovely time of the year to go to Chicago. Now, everyone's been very tight-lipped about what exactly they're doing there. Sources have told bodyslam.net potentially to film some promo stuff at the United Center.
But also, Tom, who lives in Chicago?
Does Renee Zellweger have a home there now?
What's she called? Betty? No, what's it with the white knickers? What's she called?
Betty White Knickers lives there.
White Knickers. What was the film she did? Bridget Jones!
Chicago.
With the white undercrackers. Yeah. She's going to debut in AEW later this year. Yes, this could mean everything or it could mean nothing. It could mean, yes, we're doing promos at an arena for an event that's upcoming, or it could mean we're flying in to go to Chicago-made Punk's house.
It could be another Betty White Knickers film. I'm hoping for that. Heading over to the WWE side, a real blow has been dealt to Monday Night Raw. Last week we saw Jeff Hardy beating Karrion Kross, making everyone cross with a cheeky roll-up with a heel feet on the ropes and all that stuff. So we're teasing to something there potentially. If we are teasing to something, it's not happening anytime soon, is it, Ross?
No, apparently the plan was to have Jeff Hardy once again wrestle Karrion Kross. He's Karrion Kross on the upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw. And conveniently, Tom, after getting a big win against the undefeated NXT champion, Jeff Hardy's ill. I reckon it's a lie. I don't reckon it's a lie.
It's a positive test for COVID-19. Imagine if it was a lie.
Sorry, Bruce, I can't come to work. I'm a bit poorly. I've defeated the NXT champion. I'm going to run away now. I'm joking, of course, everybody.
I've got that COVID-19. So Jeff Hardy getting pinged ahead of Monday Night Raw. He's not going to be part of the show. And probably not for the next, at least the next 10 days, one would imagine, staying away from there. Bad timing on this form. Jeff Hardy was back on Monday, although, obviously beating Karrion Kross, but it was back returning No More Words.
Exactly.
Song was back and everything. He did all that. There's a really fun moment before the match starts, and I've seen this on Twitter where the camera's zoned in on on Karrion Kross, and you can see him trying to stifle a smile when no more words start.
Marking out, bro.
Well, we send our best wishes, Jeff Hardy. Full and speedy recovery. We'll see you very, very soon. Busy weekend for the wrestling. There was obviously the live event for WWE, their first house show since last year, which Adam talked about in the news over the weekend. John Cena's first match back as well. He talked about that as well. But some wrestling going down in New Japan. Grand Slam went down on over the weekend. We saw Chase Owens becoming the second King of Pro Wrestling champion, the second person to hold that title after winning that 22-man New Japan Rambo. Yes, the Kapu. The Kapu.
I've got me things mixed up there.
History made on two levels, also at New Japan's Wrestle Grand Slam. Robbie Eagles becoming the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, the first Australian to do it as well. Big love to Robbie Eagles. And Dangerous Tekkers on top of the tag team mountain, beating Naito and Sanada to become the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. The match was the longest tag team title match in history of the Tokyo Dome.
For a Monday morning, Tom, you're full of knowledge and facts. It's impressive stuff.
I've been up since 4 a.m, mate. Wired. Pablo did that thing where he scratches on the blinds until I wake up and he goes, "Oh, you're awake. Good." Thanks, mate. Also from that show, Shingo Takagi retained the IWGP Championship, got attacked by Evil at the end of the night, so we're getting Evil and Takagi down the road.
It's all kicking off in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And it was all kicking off for GCW over the weekend as well, Ross, wasn't it? Tell us about this, because this is... If you've been living under a rock or you've been off your socials, it's all been going off in GC Dub at Homecoming.
Well, a little while ago, let's take it back to the start. There was rumours of Jon Moxley appearing in GCW to have a match with Nick Gage. A man in a hood appeared, doing the Moxley sort of like laid-back mannerisms. He did Moxley's finisher. He took the hood off. It wasn't Jon Moxley though, Tom. It was
Matt Cardona.
Exactly. We fast forward to this weekend, and Matt Cardona's had a death match against Nick Gage. He was quite good at the death matches, I've been led to believe by various sources.
In life and in wrestling.
And Matt Cardona has walked into GCW, the proverbial lion's den, if you will, and he's taken the GCW Heavyweight Championship off Nick Gage in Nick Gage's own match, in Nick Gage's own backyard, and everybody hated it, and it was fantastic. Yes, I can see people, the point of view that maybe it's a bad thing in case, you know, something a bit hard got thrown at Matt Cardona at the end, but as long as it's plastic bottles, it's bits of paper, you know...
Do you know what? A really arresting visual of Matt Cardona just covered in crimson with empty bottles just flying at him, bouncing off him, and everything about that, even down to the ring announcer, like really solemnly announcing Matt Cardona as the champion, and then Cardona cuts a promo at the end of the night, and it's just
the GCW universe.
That's it. And this is so he's been commented on Twitter after this big title win, calling himself the Deathmatch King, saying that he did it for the GCW universe. He has also since said that he is considering renaming the title the GCW Universal Championship. Matt Cardona, you scumbag, I love you. Chelsea Green shared some photos online. Now, they've got this wall behind us that shows some of the things that we're talking about. I reckon if we show what Chelsea Green was sharing, we'll probably get a wrong, a finger wagging from YouTube.
You don't get money, you.
No,
that's what they'll say.
So maybe put a picture of Pablo up there instead. There we go.
A dirty heel who woke Tom up at 4 a.m. this morning.
Put that scumbag there. So Chelsea Green, check out her Twitter because it is full of photos of the hotel room that her and Matt Cardona stayed in, and there's just blood all over the sheets.
Basically during the match, Cardona does a superplex off the middle rope to Nick Gage through a sheet of glass which was laid across some steel chairs, and in the process of doing that, he just
shredded.
What's the word? Yes, shredded.
Shredded.
And it was just, there's a big hole at the back. I've been led to, well, when you look at it looks like there's a big hole at the back. There's no.
It looks like it's just been ripped to pieces.
It's busted open again during the night. It looks like, and it's gone over his pillows and whatnot.
It's just a mess to the point where Chelsea Green had to go into reception and explain, my husband's been in a wrestling match. That's where the blood is from, because there is literally enough there. It looks like a crime scene. So
if she said my husband fell down the stairs, I think she'd be arrested.
I think very likely. But I'm very intrigued to see what Matt Cardona does as GCW champion. This is, you watch what he did over the weekend. You watch the reaction he got. It was John Cena one night stand, but on acid.
Yeah.
It was something special. And the promo he cut at the end, WWE, they didn't just drop the ball. They dropped 100 balls on Zack Ryder.
But it is the perfect story, isn't it? Because Zack Ryder is essentially Mr. WWE. He's there for so many years. He's the woo guy, going to a place like GCW, taking their title. I cannot wait to see what comes up. What happens from here, because he's going to have to do another one, isn't he? Surely.
Yeah, he's going to have a lovely time with this. More news throughout the day at cultaholic.com and here at youtube.com/cultaholic. Ross did an episode of The Rise and Fall all about TNA wrestling.
Oh, it is. Thank you to Lewis House and Jack Atkins of Cultaholic Wrestling for putting some words in my mouth that I tried to say in English so other people could understand. I tried my best.
It's a good effort. Go give it a scores out of 10 at youtube.com/cultaholic. Where you are right now. And until we're back together again, stay safe. Love you, bye.
What, Cassidy Haynes?